When it comes to highly regarded people in the world of Star Wars, Count Dooku is one of the smartest military leaders from the times before the Empire. His epic dueling abilities combined with his strategic mindset and reputation, he was fit to command one of the most powerful military of the prequel era. However, he met his end by the hands of Anakin Skywalker shortly before the rise of the Empire, something he worked hard to create. The rise of Sidious and subsequent domination of the galaxy leads us to wonder what role Dooku would have played in the newly formed Galactic Empire and exactly how he planned on the formation of the Empire taking shape through it was ultimately always in Palpatine's plan to betray Dooku and have him killed in favor of a new stronger apprentice in the form of the Chosen One. What did Dooku believe his role would be? And what were his aspirations from the new form of government that would be built from the ground up? That is what we're going to talk about in this video, so stick around, it's gonna be a good one. One of the most important things to keep in mind about Dooku is that he didn't use the dark side for the power. Instead, the idea of the dark side to him was political, and a tool which he used to advance his agenda. He did not follow the traditional practices of the Sith. This was his strength and his weakness at the same time. It was the reason why Palpatine was able to blindside him and betray him at the end of the war. His vision of how the war would end was very much close to the actual events, leading to the Battle of Coruscant and the abduction of the Chancellor. Even though he was led to believe that upon his duel with Anakin and Obi-Wan, he would kill Obi-Wan in order to tempt Anakin towards the dark side. To intentionally be defeated by the Chosen One instead of being executed. However, he believed that he would be captured by Anakin and brought back to the Senator for his trial, where he would sit out the rest of the war in relative peace. When the Separatists' true plans were finally revealed to the public at large, he did not, however, account for the idea that Anakin would be close enough to the dark side that the Skywalker would actually be willing to execute an unarmed prisoner of war, nor did he anticipate Palpatine pushing him towards his final breaking point. After Dooku was captured, tried, and imprisoned, he would then allow Palpatine to pull enough political strings to paint Dooku as a fallen hero who was deceived and tricked by the dubious Separatist forces using none other than General Grievous as the premier scapegoat for the atrocities conducted by the Separatists over the war over time. Dooku will ultimately be reaccepted into the new empire and being allowed to rise through the ranks, albeit at a steady pace with minimal immediacy. Interestingly enough, he was privy to the plan of turning Anakin to the dark side, though his interpretation of the events would be slightly different. He believed that the Empire would follow a format more akin to the reign of Darth Revan and Darth Malak, wherein the Sith Empire would still be ruled by two, but they would employ an armada of dark side force sensitives to execute the legwork of the regime. This is where the idea for a Dark Jedi Council came into play. Dooku believed he could work his way to becoming second in line, only to the Emperor, and at his fingertips would be an army of Sith warriors akin to how Plagueis and Sidious utilized Darth Maul as the clandestine assassin separate from the rule of the two, and the duo at the helm of this dark army would be General Skywalker. We know that Dooku did not strictly adhere to the rule of two, as one of his primary ambitions was to round up the Jedi survivors and create a new collective Sith order, rather than feeding off their blind emotion. He would teach them how to use the dark side as a tool, and path to becoming a stronger order than the Jedi could ever manifest while mitigating the fighting and betrayal. Dooku believed that the Sith would be the prime and ultimate force-wielding order, without the interference of the Senate and those too naive, while also mitigating the infighting and emotions of the Sith. Dooku believed he was going to create the perfect order of force wielders under the Sith. In his mind, they were to be something more, and although Dooku would never be the leader, only second to Palpatine, and perhaps General Skywalker, he was comfortable with his role. This would allow the once famed war general and Republic hero to slowly paint the Jedi as a problem that was causing more harm than good at the dawn of the new Imperial era. It was Dooku's plan to turn the Jedi Knights around the larger Jedi Council and Order and turn them against one another, not to outright slaughter them, all of which was part of the plan that Dooku was not ever privy to. He would then go on to puppeteer the corruption of Anakin Skywalker, and they would use the great hero as a figurehead for their cause, garnering positive public perception and trust by using the voice of the Chosen One to further their own agenda. This new Imperial armada of Force-sensitive dark-side assassins would allow him to create what he called an empire, eliminating all non-human leadership from the Empire and purifying it as an empire controlled by humanity. After the rise of the Empire and the soon-to-be Emperor tells Anakin to execute him, did he finally understand the scope of the plan and the trap into which he'd fallen into? According to the original script, Dooku was supposed to beg for his life, but Sir Christopher Lee believed it would be unbecoming of the character and eventually persuaded George Lucas to allow him to die with dignity. Some claim that this version of the Imperial Armada would have been far more compelling to watch, just as Dooku had envisioned a new supreme force-wielding order, an army of the dark side being sent on clandestine executions as the Iron Fist of the Empire could have been fascinating to see unfold. However, the idea was likely to have a huge contribution to the Inquisitors, but Dooku believed that his followers would be full Sith Lords, since he wanted to establish a brand new order, not the Inquisitor simply being an extended will of the Sith that ruled over them. Dooku imagined a Sith empire, not just an empire. His original vision as a legion of Sith warriors commanded by Darth Vader and sent to carry out the wishes of the Empire, an empire that sadly didn't have room for Dooku. So what do you guys think about this version? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. May the Force be with you.